Hallspace Podcast. It's about connections. I'm your host, Dr. Ritch Hall, and this is a weekly conversation about whatever and however I see to connect things. For people who want to connect, chat, and learn a thing or two about a thing or two. Without further ado, let's start the show. Hello, hello.
Hey there.
Welcome to the Hallspace Podcast.
The live version.
The live version of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're doing it.
We are.
Live and in living color.
Live and in living color for our 1 year anniversary.
Our 1 year anniversary of the show. We've been doing this for 360 something odd days. Yes.
Yeah.
And still having a good time, I would say.
Yeah.
And we're going to work on engaging the camera together because this room is not set up necessarily for a live show.
Yeah.
I've made some adjustments so that she can see me over there and I can see her over here. And we're going to be looking at the camera as best we can. As opposed to each other. This is what it looks like when we actually talk to each other.
Right.
So you don't know that if you've listened to the show before. That's how we're normally talking. We're normally actually able to talk at each other this way. But it would look weird if we did it
the whole time.
Yeah.
Even though I enjoy it.
Yeah. Even though. But we have to do it this way so that it looks more natural.
Yeah.
They say if you do it that way. And now now that I'm looking at my fro, is it stupendous? I don't know. Now I have to be thoughtful of how I look.
Right. It's like, is it?
Yeah. Is it right? Are we okay? We got a few tufts up or something. Got some knots going. So we got a whole show planned. We got a timer to tell us. Normally I have a computer timer, but today I'm relying on my.
Keep us to the time.
I'm going to keep us to the time for the sake of, we have other things to do this evening, and
we always have other things to do. So
yeah,
try to stay on time.
Right, but sometimes it's more difficult than others.
It always depends on what we're talking about.
It does, because a good conversation, you got to go. You got to follow a good conversation.
Exactly. So what do you want to start?
So let's start off with school. Let's do the conversation. Kids are going back to school all over the country.
3 days.
I don't know if anyone knows this, but some people have been talking about Ask Dr. Hall, which has been on Channel 12, where some doctor psychologist in the city has been giving advice on kids going back to school.
And there is a place where you can send in Ask
Dr. Hall at backtoschool@local12.com. You can send questions in.
local12.com.
Yes. And you can ask Dr. Hall for some therapeutic answers to your questions.
And that guy will answer them.
He will answer your questions on air. And he wings it, and he does a decent job.
Yeah.
And in those conversations, I've had to talk about kids going to school, which has been what do I tell people? Also, it's made me be way more thoughtful about the process of going to school from a emotional and psychological point of view.
Because there's anxiety on both sides.
Right.
On all sides, for the teachers, for the students, for the parents, right?
Right. And so it becomes difficult to navigate cleanly. There's always a little bit of what's going to happen,
right? And that's every year, but this is a pandemic year, second pandemic.
This is a post-pandemic year.
So it's even more nerve-wracking for a lot of us parents, for the kids themselves. And so I think that's what they asked. No. The last episode they were talking about masks.
Yes, masks and bullying. Which I want to talk about more with someone. So on my other podcast, for those of you who may not know, I have another podcast, Psychologize You, where we discuss primarily psychology-related issues because Nicole she can't carry that load with me, and that's okay. Your partner doesn't have to know everything you know as she drinks her wine while talking, while I'm talking.
About the psychology
stuff. She's just going to sip some wine while I talk about psychology stuff. So I have that podcast with my friend Frank Baker, and I've got some guests lined up. I have some guest psychologists coming up to also talk about some of this stuff. And I've learned that, we went on hiatus for this show due to some other issues over at Psychologize You. I had to go on hiatus there, and I was getting jammed up with topics I wanted to just talk about and didn't have the outlets.
There was nowhere to go for
and I realized how frustrating that is to not have the outlets. I need the opportunity to talk about these things with people so that I feel like I'm getting resolved in a way. Otherwise I just sort of sit with these thoughts and feelings in my head and not know what to say or do about them.
Yeah, you don't realize how good this feels when you have, the opportunity to do it once or twice a week. And then, I go on vacation, your other co-host has other things to do because we're all adults.
Yeah, because life is still happening.
Yeah.
We're still in a pandemic. Stuff's still going on.
Yeah, so other things take priority sometimes, but it's still a really great outlet.
It is. And so I've missed it. We've missed you as our audience.
Yes,
you as our audience. My hands aren't in the screen like I normally expect them to be because it's closer. So normally I could do my gestures. You guys don't know how much I do gestures while doing the show.
If y'all don't know Richie, he talks with his hands.
Talks with my hands. God, saying things with hands.
Well, I came out of the womb talking
with hands. I used to say I'd flap my arms. Danger, Will Robinson. Danger. So there've been a lot of jokes about.
He still does that.
He still does.
So when we say that's on you.
That's on you.
That's on you.
That's on you, though. So, welcome to the live episode of the Hallspace Podcast. We're preparing to send the kids back to school and wrapping our heads around the emotional changes that come with stepping back into the world of COVID.
Into the buildings this time. It isn't remote learning, which is a different nervousness, right?
Which is a different nervousness, absolutely.
Nervousness.
Yeah.
And we survived that barely, right? They all passed. Barely. We had a lot of help. We had, a lot of, people of our village that help us get through it. Shout out to Mom and Miss Tina and all those guys. But they're going back in person this time. Yeah. All three. 6th grade, 4th grade, 1st grade.
1st grade, all the grades.
Woo.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting.
And 6th grade's technically middle school, so Nicole's been klimped. She just really feels like she doesn't know what to do about that, about our son going to 6th grade. And I'm kind of like, that's the point. He's supposed to grow up because if he doesn't.
he was so I said, our baby is going to middle school. And he was like, you want a 40-year-old dude in your basement talk about mama, make me a hamburger.
Right.
Why is that what we jump to?
Right.
Why is that?
Because if you don't let him grow up, that's what you get.
Let me mourn my baby. Okay.
Feel free to mourn your baby. I didn't say don't mourn your baby. I just said also keep it in perspective.
I understand that, but he shows up in my Facebook memories all the time as this little chunky pumpkin. And now he's like, the tweenager with the hoodie calling me bruh.
Yeah.
He wants food and you don't see him otherwise.
Make me a hamburger, bruh.
Right. Calm down, bruh. It's just middle school.
Yeah. Sorry.
I'm not okay. Okay. No, he's a sweet kid.
He is. He's a good kid.
He is. He's so smart. So I really hope that middle school doesn't soil him. Yeah. Middle school was rough for me. So I'm hoping that this will be good for him. So.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a way different experience than you did or even I did.
It'll be different for him than it is for us. Which is good. And then, the other two will be in elementary school and Victoria is in 1st grade. So it'll be different than kindergarten, but she's been going in person for the last 2 quarters. So she needs it.
She definitely needs. We are not enough for her. She needs the world to interact with.
She needs she needs the world.
We're just normal people trying to live our normal lives with a little bit of quiet. We're just 2 introverts who are trying to make the day go by.
We're just trying to, and we're trying to work at the same time.
Yeah, and be employees. So, and she's not about that.
I can't teach you math.
Yeah.
I have a meeting.
Particularly from the ground up. Like teaching you math you have no foundational skills in math.
Yeah, it's
I got to give you those skills, and I barely have skills in math.
Right. And I tell you what, I took a lot of time off. I moved a lot of stuff around. So it wasn't that work was more important, but it was just like, I am only so capable of helping you.
You didn't train to be a teacher.
I did not.
Technically, I trained to be a teacher, but a teacher of college students. Like I was not training to be a teacher of kids.
Listen,
there's a whole different methodology that goes into that.
Are special for a reason.
Yes.
They are gifted.
Yes.
And they are equipped and they have the heart for it. A lot of them.
They wake up every day wanting to teach our kids.
They're dedicated.
Yeah.
God bless them. Please take Victoria and Rob.
Take her off our hands, please.
Please. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I'll pick them up at 2. Okay. So, I will be nervous, but they're going to wear their masks. They're going to social distance, all that kind of stuff. So we'll see how it goes, but the house will be quiet.
The house will be quiet. You'll have it to yourself for hours of the day.
Yeah.
To go back to being an employee. Yeah.
I'll be back here, I don't know what I'm going to do. Feel a brand new day.
Okay. Don't get too excited. All right.
Yeah.
So into the show. We've got a host of topics because it's been like 3 or 4 weeks, so we're really behind on some topics.
Like, where do we even start? Right.
Big question.
Yeah. Can I put in a quick?
Yeah. What's your quick?
My quick is just prayers out to Haiti.
Oh, yeah.
They had an earthquake.
700 people currently are listed dead, which is a lot of people to lose.
A lot of people. God bless them.
Yeah.
And, in the middle of a pandemic where human interaction is even more dangerous.
Right.
God bless them. I just wanted to put that out there.
No. That's good of you. That's great. You're a good person, Charlie Brown, for remembering to acknowledge.
No, I had seen it in my feed, and I was like, "What happened in Haiti?" So I had to look it up because I hadn't really been on my phone. But prayers out to them. Yeah. So we have so many other interesting things. things to talk about.
There's so much going on in the world today that it takes everything you got. Getting away from all your worries sure would help a lot. Wouldn't you like to get away? Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name. And they're always glad you came. You want to go where you can see. Troubles are always saying, you want to go where everybody knows your name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can go on a tour to see the actual.
In Chicago, you could see the actual Cheers location. Yes.
Yeah.
And so.
So what's our first?
You want to do something fun or something not fun?
There's one thing I wanted to dig into. But
what do you want to dig into? Just go ahead.
How are you 38 years old?
Oh, you're going to do that? We're going to go there?
We don't have to.
It's on my list, but we can go there.
We could do it on the second half if you want to.
So we're talking about Dr. Dre's daughter, who recently was in the news for being homeless.
So let's just a little bit. LaTanya Young, right? 38 years old with 4 children. Whatevs, right? Somehow she got interviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was an interview. And in the interview, she said, I'm working at DoorDash and I'm working at Uber Eats and I'm living out of my car right now. Yeah. And my dad stopped giving me money 18 months ago.
Yeah.
So, first of all, how did the interview come about? Because if you're living in your car, are we looking for you?
Yeah.
He's got mass kids. And yes, he just had a big divorce and had to pay, the spousal support for his last wife. Fair enough.
Yeah. He's had a lot going on.
But are they interviewing all this? He's got a lot of kids.
Yeah. She's being interviewed because she's, in many ways, this sort of, there's a story there.
She spoke out.
Yeah. And it sounds like she was not prepared for adulting because she had always had a rich father.
Anytime that your dad is giving you money, so she's 38. He stopped giving money 18 months ago. Yeah. So little less than 2 years ago. Which
maybe
means
37, 36.
He'd been giving her money since she was 36.
Yeah. Prior to being 36 or 37, she was getting money.
Prior to being 36.
She was getting a healthy stipend.
Which, if you think about it, if you're paying child support, it goes to your 18. So he paid an additional 18 years worth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she wasn't even talking to him during the time he was giving her the money.
So money was just coming her way, whether she talked to him or not.
Whether she talked about him or not. And her claim is that he stopped giving her money because she said she spoke out or something.
She was speaking to the news.
She was speaking to the news, right?
And maybe disparaging him out there while he's already going through this other thing, the divorce thing.
A lot of people have said a lot of stuff about Dr. Dre. Okay?
Yeah. But I think most people would feel a certain way if it's one thing for people to be saying things about
or ex-girlfriends or ex-wives.
Yeah,
fair enough.
But for my children, whom I'm paying money to be saying things,
and you're grown AF.
Most people would feel a certain way.
You mega grown.
Right.
Well, and
if you're grown enough to talk, then maybe you're grown enough to walk.
Right? Maybe you should have...
Maybe you should, a
job.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, and people are like, oh, no, she's got a couple jobs. They're just not enough. Not enough for...
They're not real jobs. She does not have any marketable skills.
Right. So...
So she was getting money to the point where she didn't have to think about developing marketable skills.
She's living in a car that's a rental. That's $2,500 a month, apparently.
Jeez, man, why would you even...
That's the thing is so some people are really upset, So apparently she started a GoFundMe. Right, for $50,000.
Yeah.
And they're like, so she's living in a rental car that's $2,500 a month, and she wants money from us?
Yeah.
The rest of us that are going to work every day paying for our 4 kids or 3, you know what I mean? Like there's, you know, there is something to be said for as a Black woman having children, being a single parent, having to do it all the time, right? Yeah. We do it. We've been doing it. That's how it goes, right? But there's also, you know, there's a part of me that says if it doesn't have to be hard,
don't make it hard.
Don't make it hard, right? And for a lot of us, she's had advantages that we never had, right? Okay, so her dad is famous. She doesn't talk to him, but he's still giving her money. So you could have gone to school and gotten a degree, or you could have gotten an internship at one of his companies, or with, I mean, like you, if nothing else, you've access to people who have access to jobs and money and experience. You could have interned for that time and not gotten paid and still found a marketable skill.
She was not preparing for the rainy days.
She was not.
Unfortunately.
She was not.
And so even though Dr. Dre has billions of dollars, she did not herself.
She doesn't have
come into billions of dollars.
He has billions of dollars. She has 4 kids and a $2,500 car.
Which, I mean, you know, I mean, hustling, doing Uber Eats ain't easy.
No, it's a tough job. Yeah. It's a tough job. And I believe that when you do that kind of job, there's always this debate about whether you get tips or not. If they're doing something for you, you should be tipping. That's just my stance on that as well. There was a big debate about it, like, well, if they chose the job, it's not the point. They're doing something you don't have to do.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I believe that it's good hard work, but I also believe that there were so many, and I don't know her, I don't know him. There were so many missed opportunities though, because you get your kid comes to you and they say, hey, I want to learn how to be a psychologist. Can I be your assistant?
Yeah.
Right? Like, has that never happened?
That's interesting because that's a conversation that Terry often has. Like, if you have a skill, then you should be teaching your children the skill you have. Just like if you were a tradesman, like, you know, they should know plumbing. They should know, like, whatever
if you're an artist, they should, and that's exactly what the Huddlestons do, which is great.
Yes, Terry Huddleston, friend of the show.
All of their kids have special talents, and they hone into what those talents are.
So his kids are doing, you know, graphic art.
They're doing all kinds of stuff.
Computer design.
Only 2 of them are over 18. They've got 4 kids.
And through that, they're really like doing some really cool stuff. It's very impressive.
It is.
And it often sort of reminds me, like, make sure your kids are picking up the stuff. Like, I've got all this knowledge that is barred off.
Make sure that you're
or siloed off in academia.
Yep.
But that doesn't mean that they can't learn some of the basics of what we do and how we do it. I mean, Nicole definitely is super excited that Roz playing in Roblox and building his own games because those are the fundamental building blocks of eventually programming. You know,
programming and creating games, all that stuff can be monetized. You know?
Yeah.
And he gets such joy out of it.
And he's also producing his own YouTube episodes. He has his own YouTube channel.
He does.
Which I find fascinating considering, you know, we do this. So we have a YouTube channel. He has a YouTube channel. It's just
he's very excited about it. Victoria's not old enough to have a YouTube channel, but she has YouTube content. If you go, the reason why her Fire doesn't have space on it right now
is because she's been recording videos.
Because she's been recording videos, and she records it by herself. She records it with the girls. She's a host. It's very it's a
full-on show. It's a full-on thing.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Like, share, subscribe.
Oh jeez.
It's totally a thing.
Yeah.
I tried to clear off stuff and I'm like, these are all videos. These are all videos of you.
Right.
That's all videos of you.
Right.
Oh, God.
Oh. Well, as I said before, she's supposed to be out there in the world doing her thing.
She's gonna be somebody someday. But yeah, she's totally gonna have she's gonna have a presence no matter what.
And I'm teaching Daniel audio production.
He's very
brick
good.
by brick. He's got a good ear for stuff like that. He's got a good ear.
He's got great ideas.
Yeah. So every now and again, I'll ask him, what do you think I should do here for this when I'm doing something?
He really does have.
He'll give you an idea.
He absolutely does. Very good, solid.
Yeah.
You know, he's almost 9, but, you know, yeah. So there's something to be said for making sure that the children that you have your legacy.
Well, that you help your kids find their way to talents.
Right. And I, while he was giving her, giving her money, she probably had opportunities. Again, we don't know them. We have no idea.
No idea what's really their life.
But at the very minimum, with the money he was giving her.
Yeah. It sounds like one of those situations where she had never really thought the day was coming where the money would run out.
Right.
And that's one of the things that I always say when you're raising
kids.
Right.
I mean,
the money's never going to run out.
Yeah.
But I always say that your kids have to be able to survive without you. That's one of the things that I push back on when people say that sort of like, my kids will always be able to live with me forever. And, I'm always going to, if I have it, they have it. But it's like, there is no way this is supposed to work where you outlast them. So that means there's going to come a day where they have to live without you. So you have to give them the skills and abilities to traverse this planet, which is indifferent to their condition without you. You have to find a way.
No, I agree with that.
Help them.
But I also agree that much like the families that have this generational wealth, they do set their kids up for success, right?
Yeah.
So
ideally,
one of the things that Bridget and I was talking about was like, okay, get a job, go to school, whatever, what have you. You want to get a house, we'll help you figure that out, right? Like, so there are so many of these things that, because of the positions that we are in now, we can help them with. And I believe as a parent, you definitely should do those things, but keeping in mind that, I'll help you, but you need to carry the torch on, right? Yeah. Eventually, you got to be an adult in this world by yourself without me.
Yes.
And you need to be able to...
Yes.
I always had the feeling that I always wanted to be independent. I never wanted to have to ask for anything. And I wanted to, once I moved out, never come back, right? That was like a big deal to me.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand.
That was the true mark that you made it, right? That you did what you were supposed to do. Was
it's
that
like, hey, I'm
leave.
out and I stayed out, right?
Right. Because we'd all sort of seen those horror stories of people who
when they come back and then they don't know what to do, and then it's like, oh man, rent is real, utilities are real,
yeah,
taking car is real, yeah. So no, that was always like my big goal, and I think, a lot of kids have that goal, and that's something that has to be instilled in them, though, right? It's got to be something that's like, okay, I gotta make it.
Yes, you have to sort of let them know that they gotta do it on their own.
I gotta make it.
And if you don't, and he didn't really raise this daughter. Like, I think they worked together after she was like 5 or something. So
they broke up.
Yeah,
and so it's just her mom.
Yeah, and you said something interesting too, that people were mad at him, but if she has 4 children,
she's got 4 children.
That means there's at least 1 or 2 fathers of those children, maybe 4 different fathers.
Yeah,
those people have failed to sort of support her just as much
because they're the mother of your children.
Yeah, so there's a host of people making poor decisions in this circumstance.
There's a lot going on here. Yeah.
And so it's often hard for me to sort of just like blanket judge in this kind of thing, because it's like, man, there's a lot going on. And she definitely needs more help and support. And should Dr. Dre be the one that provides that? I don't know.
I mean,
he has some responsibility to her. Like, if I had $1 billion, then every child of mine would own a house. But
like that's a no-brainer.
But they also have to pay the taxes on the house. So you can give them a house and they can still lose the house.
Well,
because they fail to keep up the house.
Right. I mean, and there's an example of someone that we know that had a house, lost the house, even though all they had to do was pay the taxes on it. Like, and it wasn't that they weren't set up.
No.
Right? So we could set one of our kids up and say, hey, we put the down payment on it. The rest is yours. And they still be like, meh.
Yeah. Meh.
Meh. Some of that I will say is just education, right? Yeah. We don't always teach our children about money, about saving, about all of the things that go into being an adult. Yeah. Right.
Well, often, as Black people, we just did not get the appropriate.
No, we didn't. We didn't learn the same way.
We did not. Well, unfortunately, we were not exposed in the same ways that other people were.
Right.
And that makes a difference.
It does. But there's some of us that have managed, right? And we figured it out kind of the hard way. And thus it's our responsibility to our kids to help them figure it out,
Ideally, yes.
Here's how budgeting works. Here's how saving works.
You have to teach the kids the things that you didn't know. And so sometimes it means acknowledging there were things that you didn't know.
Yeah.
And then how do they learn the things they need to know?
Well, maybe y'all learn at the same time. Like, you got to figure some stuff out.
Out-survive you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my grandparents helped me get into college. They hadn't really gone through that process a whole lot before me. But like, we figured it out together. It was just... It's what you did, and I think that's kind of I do believe that's what we owe our children, because they can only become better if we educate them with the things that they'll need to be able to survive. So maybe she just doesn't have. She
obviously does not have.
Yeah, I mean,
unfortunately.
I mean, there's so many things that people were saying in the comments, like, if she can't afford to live in California, then she can't live in California. Yeah, I mean, find somewhere where you can, like, what is it what you want to do with your life for realsies? Right.
And not everybody knows how to make that happen, right? There's a lot of people
monetize it, or
or
find their way to it.
How do you? Not everybody has that ambition, and I don't know that everybody should be like entrepreneurs. I think sometimes
everybody isn't.
I think sometimes one of the downfalls of hustle culture is trying to get everybody to think in terms of being an entrepreneur.
Some people need to work a job and be off at 6. Yeah, and I dig that. I dig that.
But you also got to find your way to that. And there's still a certain amount of there's a skill
to that
goes into being that too. We forget.
There's a talent to it. Yeah, there's an acumen to it. There is.
You gotta have a certain temperament.
It's a different hustle to it. Yeah, absolutely. So it sounds like she hasn't found that, but she did a $50,000 GoFundMe and she has not made very much.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting that it's like, hey, does anybody know of any jobs that pay this much? Yeah. It's like, hey, just give me $50,000.
Right.
That would be. Hey, can we do that?
I mean, if you wanted to, just do a GoFundMe.
I don't know.
No, but most people aren't really built for that handout. Like once again, those of us who were sort of taught some of these Midwestern hard work ethic values, the idea of just saying, okay, hand me money, please, is foreign to us.
Well, I mean, and if you think about this girl, she's raised in money.
Yeah.
She ain't never known a broke day.
Right.
Because he was already...
for the last 18 months. She was not saving for the rainy day. Now she's like the rest of us. Right. Like the rest of us.
She's like the rest of us.
Yeah.
Or maybe therein lies but I mean, I watch all these different shows, right? And one of the other shows that I watch is hip hop, Love and Hip Hop. One of those.
Women yelling at each other. Famous, semi-famous, B-list wannabe celebrities yelling at each other
Uncle
over
Luke's
brunch.
Daughter is... she's a businesswoman. They have been estranged for a number of years. I don't know that she's ever asked him for money, but she's older as well. But she has made her own way. Now, she's used a lot of the people that are connected to him in a way, because she does like party promotion, she does event planning, stuff like that. But she's made her own way. Yeah. Right. Now, she still does want to have like a relationship with her dad. Right. But it isn't like, you stopped paying me 2 years ago and I feel like we should, I mean, she tried to say it wasn't about money. She said, I want him to know his grandkids because he hasn't met any of them. Yeah. So there is some issues going on there.
You're instinctively still looking at me, by the way.
I'm sorry.
You're instinctively still glancing in my direction, and I'm working on staring just at the camera. I am. Yeah, what's funny is the resistance between don't look her in the eye because it looks weird when I'm looking over there. Right. No. It's okay. First show. We're working on it.
Yeah, I'll work on it.
Eventually, we can get a setup where you can see both of us. We can broadcast in the dining room or something. I don't know.
Yeah, where we can do that.
See and be seen together. Yeah. But today, that's not what we're doing.
Today's not what we're doing.
We are.
But I mean, I think, there is something to be said for not seeing your grandkids.
Yes, no, I couldn't imagine that either.
I couldn't either.
That's one of the things that always struggled. I was always an idea that I struggled with.
Like having a kid that you don't see every day.
Having a kid I do not see every day. Like, how could I live a life where I am not around my children every day. Wake them up in the morning. Just watch them go to bed at night. That is a fundamental core part of who I am. And so the idea of being removed from that situation for any reason, and then sort of, I do kind of understand how you could go your life and not think about it. Like you could be going through your day and not necessarily not think about it, but like not be obligated to it. And I can also understand like, hey, wouldn't it be great to not have to put up with this obligation every day? That's only because you put up with it every day. Right. That's different than... But I couldn't imagine actually living that life. No, that wouldn't be for me. You got 3 days tops before you're like... Before I start to get weird and I'm like, I need to see the kids. What are they doing? Everything is weird after 3 days. Everything is strange. And I need to be back around my kids again. Yeah. That does get to me with time. When I was down in Carolina, I said, I haven't said flush the toilet, wash your hands in 2 days now. Yeah, it's been 2 whole days of not yelling at a person. I don't know, I don't know who it was. I think it was, my aunt or my uncle went to the bathroom and I'm like, flush the toilet, wash your hands. I'm sorry. I'm just so used to saying that. I haven't said it in like 2 days. Yeah. I mean, so there was a part of me that was relaxing that allowed me to reset, but there's this other part of me that's like, that's part of me. That felt a way about not tapping into the parental identity. Yeah. Which is so salient. It's a part of you. It's part of you. It's so much a part of you. It is. Yeah. So, I mean, my heart does go out to, what did you say her name was? Her name is LaTanya Young. God bless her. I do hope she gets her life together. I hope so too. I know that there are a lot of other people who are probably in the same struggle. Oh, absolutely. That don't have billionaire dads, right? Like, absolutely. They're down. Just can't get right. They're just down. I mean, I do believe in like that. For many reasons. I'm a fan of universal income and, healthcare, universal housing. There's some things that we shouldn't have to ask for. Yeah. I think. And I mean, we spend the money anyway. So we just spend the money cheaper by waiting for them to do something illegal and then throwing them in jail. But we're paying to house people. We're willing to pay for them to go to jail. Right. And but it's not like, give them a home. And we don't want to give them a home and a clean jail bathroom. Requires that people watch them 24/7. Whereas if we would just gave them a home, ideally, they wouldn't have to necessarily be observed all the time. And surrounded by other criminals. Right. You know. And that doesn't solve the problem for everyone. There are always going to be ne'er-do-wells who will abuse it, who'll do wrong with it or whatever. But there are a lot of people that just... are just down, man, and they just need it, so... Hopefully she'll find her way, man, Yeah. Hopefully. It's gotta be rough, but ma'am. Yeah. Ma'am. Best of luck to her. Best of luck, but you're almost 40. You gotta, You gotta take some responsibility for your own life, right? Yeah. That's the idea. I mean, as often, like I said, my thing is, and going back to what we said before, like my thing is, how do you raise the kids so that they can take care of themselves? Right. Because I'm not going to be around forever. And so they have to have the skills and ability to navigate the planet without me, because the planet will just, it's going to keep spinning. It's going to keep spinning. And it's going to be rough. And that's sort of a testament to whether or not I did my job. Like that's on me to make sure that they get to adulthood able to take care of themselves and with a work ethic. Yeah. That's one of the, like, when it comes to my oldest son, he has a decent work ethic, but he's so distractible. And, sometimes he just gets so distracted and that frustrates me sometimes. Like, dude, get back to work. But he's dedicated to what he really enjoys, though. Yeah. So for him, it's going to be finding that thing. Finding a passion. And then he will go knee deep into it and be so dedicated. He'll be all in. 100%. 100%. So ideally. I mean, it's about finding that thing for him, Yes. Daniel has a work ethic no matter what it is. Yeah, he tends to be more. He's like, hey, you want me to do this job? Intrinsically motivated. Like, hey, I'd like to. Okay. Tell me the beginning, middle, and end. I'll give my energy to that. Yeah. Victoria's more like Ross. She likes to like doing it. Right. She needs some, like, why am I doing this? And it's not, again, we've talked about this on the show. It's not her being disrespectful. She's literally just the most curious little person in the world. She's like, but why? But then what happens? I mean, because she does a lot of what ifs, and it's just like, I don't know. What if there's syrup on the plate and it falls on the floor and then the cat licks it? Wow. I don't even know. Yeah. I hadn't thought that far ahead, and I don't even know I care, ma'am. I don't care at all. I don't ahead and believe me. I don't give a... Oh. You know how many times she comes to me with random stuff like that? Oh. All day? Oh. I'm sorry. Don't say all. Don't be that guy. I'm sorry. Don't say all.
thousands.
I'm sorry.
Of what ifs. Okay.
She'll be in school soon. She won't be underfoot so often.
You know what? I love her.
You're gonna miss her.
I'm gonna miss her.
You're gonna be all like, I wonder if she's okay.
I'm gonna pick her up at 2:30, and we're gonna snuggle
and ask all the questions. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. But I need the other 6 hours.
Left to your own devices, you're going to be afraid and worried. And I'm
going to be terrified. I'm going to be, I need her to settle down. I need her to listen to the teachers. I need her to. Yeah. Because she's one of those kids where, like, she'll entertain herself. They'll be like, oh, you go sit in the corner by yourself. And she'll be like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, she don't need nobody to entertain her at all.
Yeah. So she does not.
Yeah, I was that kid. So.
Yeah. So we're getting around time to do a commercial.
Hey, all right.
You guys won't see the commercials if you're watching us live or watching this video. There won't be commercials in the video.
What will they see in the video?
They'll stay. I'm going to go to black.
Okay.
So they'll go to the background screen, and then we'll take a minute, and then we'll return with more of the Hallspace Podcast.
See you soon.
So let me tell you about Anchor Podcast. It's the podcasting service that I use. Anchor.fm is the easiest way to make a podcast, and there are many different reasons why, but foremost is it's free. So you don't need to go out and buy a whole bunch of equipment. If you have a phone or a computer and a microphone, you can record and edit your podcast right on your phone or computer. So that's one major benefit, as well as the fact that they'll distribute your podcast to several different podcasting sites for you. Not only can your podcast be found on Anchor, it can also be found on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Google Podcast as well. So you don't have to worry about going to all those different sites and setting yourself up. They'll do it for you. You can also make some money on your podcast. Say you have a podcast that only 5 people listen to on a regular basis. They don't limit you on how many subscribers you have to have in order to be able to make a little bit of change for your podcast to keep yourself going. So pretty much everything you need to start a podcast can be found at Anchor.fm. So go download the app either in the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store, or go to Anchor.fm to get started. And I guarantee you, it'll make things so much easier for you, like it has for me.
Love, relationships, the church, the world as we see it today, and many more thought-provoking conversations. This season of Speak Kaya, She's Come Undone Talk Sessions, coming to your ears soon. Keep watching.
Have you ever wondered why humans just aren't who we say we are? Psychologize You is a podcast by licensed psychologist Dr. Ritch Hall and licensed therapist Frank Baker. Join us as we explore why humans human the way we do. Hopefully, you'll learn a little bit about how the mind works, mental health issues, and ways to cope with this thing we call life. Weekly, wherever you get your podcasts. And we're back.
Hey there.
I got to work on how do I do these transitions, because that's one thing that I'm used to in the recording. So if I do edit this later, I'm going to want to make sure that
there are sound bits that you can.
Yes. Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
We were trying to set up for another thing, and then I realized that I was not. I was broadcasting, so you're going to see some weirdness there in the middle. My apologies. Where I was trying to set up for this next segment we were going to do, and accidentally started broadcasting because I'm new to this. I don't know what I'm doing. I do not know what I'm doing.
What do I do with my hands?
What do I do with my hands? Can I get 2 cups? If I hold 2 cups.
I do 2 cups.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll get it. We'll get it. Mm-hmm. Chuck's doing a great job. First go around.
Chuck is trying his best.
Chuck is stressed out over there.
A whole other thing.
Y'all, prayers for Chuck. He's stressing over there.
He is stressing out. He's trying somehow to make this work, and he does not know what he's doing.
Chuck, you're doing great. We're doing great.
He does not know what he is doing.
He is trying.
He's trying his hardest to make a show.
He is.
And it is barely working out. Burly working out. Yeah.
He's doing fine.
Yeah. So yeah,
we have a couple of other topics we wanted to bring to discuss for this second half. Mm-hmm. And one of the funner topics was there is a video of this airline attendant who ultimately duct tapes a passenger because he is just wild and belligerent, right? Mm-hmm. And so apparently they're all on the plane, and the attendant he's sitting in his chair and everybody's sitting down, and I guess the passenger is like drunk and he's belligerent and he's being wild and crazy with the female attendant. Yeah. And so he comes over, and apparently the drunk passenger had on the female attendant, touched her.
Yeah, had groped her inappropriately. Hold on, I think I found the video. What I was trying to do before was find the video.
Okay.
And so we're gonna transfer over to that. He was charged with 3 counts of battery.
This guy was super drunk, like how people get on the plane trashed, and. Sorry, it wasn't Spirit, it's Frontier.
Yep.
They're so trashed. They're in the air.
Yeah. Oh.
They're cheering.
Yeah. And I feel a little on the embarrassed side.
You act a fool, you get fool's prizes.
Yeah. I do feel a little embarrassed.
You should be embarrassed. You show your whole tail.
I feel some vicarious embarrassment for him.
I don't feel bad for him at all.
But it seems like a lot of people have been going through struggling with customer service, man. A lot of people are having a lot of trouble on customer service.
So, you know what? All I see is a bunch of COVID air just breathing everywhere.
Yeah.
I thought you weren't allowed to get on the plane if you were inebriated.
No, I mean, you can get on inebriated, but I like the stupid drunk.
He was stupid drunk. You can't think this guy didn't walk on there like blowed,
I'm glad to see that they were supporting the crew.
Yeah, because what else do you do in the air?
Right. Right.
Like, this guy's acting a whole fool.
Right. And as a result, he's making it difficult for all the other passengers on the flight.
And all they want to do is go home.
All
or go to
they
their
want
vacation.
to do
all they want to do
is
get to their next destination. Right.
Yeah. They don't want any of this.
I mean, and of course they pulled the white boy card. They pulled the white boy card. My grandfather, did you hear that? My grandfather made
he definitely brought up that his grandfather
made more money.
Yeah.
Than you have in your entire lifetime. Which meant he felt he was
entitled to act the way he did.
Did you also see that he, I guess he felt bad, and was like, oh no, this isn't what I wanted.
Oh, did he? I have not seen that.
Yeah. It's, I understand. It's whack at best. I mean, you're not sorry.
He's not sorry.
No.
Unfortunately. Okay, I see what's happening. Yeah, you continue talking for a second while I try to figure this out over here.
Okay, he's drunk, but he speaks a sober mind. He absolutely believed everything that he said. Mm-hmm. He believed that he could act a fool on the plane. Mm-hmm. You're disrupting everybody else. You groped the female attendant, and then when the male attendant came over, you groped him as well. And okay, so there's the original video that I saw was the male attendant telling his part of the story.
Yes.
And he's 1,000% a character. Okay.
Yeah.
He is 100% like hilarious, right? He's like telling the story, and he's like, now where he messed up at was
yes.
he tried to grope me, and I don't play that.
Yes.
And so, you know, anytime black folks say, this is where you messed up. Right.
That is definitely something that we say and think and feel.
It's definitely something like, okay, this is about to take a very bad turn.
Right.
And it did, because he groped him as well. And he said, nah, I'm going to tape him down because there's nothing else we can do. We need to keep going.
Right.
You know, like once you're in the air, like you're not, where are you landing? Right. You got to get a special landing because this guy's drunk. Like it's, you know, I'm surprised it wasn't caught before he got on the plane. Right. But I mean, you know, apparently they were coming from, it was a flight to Miami.
Yes.
Oh, Florida man. And it's on Frontier. We've never flown Frontier. We've typically fly Allegiant, but you know, Frontier can get it too. Like, you know, you fly me down to Florida. I mean, that's great.
Right.
But the guy is from Ohio.
Is he? Oh, do we have to claim him though?
Are you surprised? He probably goes to your college.
Yeah.
And it got so bad that
what are you doing over here?
I dropped my phone.
Since masks were required,
because we're live.
Because we're live.
I mean, you know.
Now understand something. I'm a flight attendant.
So this is his take on it.
My computer's slowing down a little bit.
And of course, there is a remix to it as well. If you're not well versed in this,
attending to crazy people. If you push us too far, you're gonna have to attend this ass whooping.
Right.
You see, because on this particular flight, I'm sitting in the jump seat and I'm just looking at him act a damn fool. He's spitting and cussing and going crazy. I say, that's enough. I got up and I walked over there. And by the way, this man smelled like a pack of Marlboro cigarettes. 4 shots of Everclear
and
alcohol.
4 shots of Everclear and regret.
Something's about to go down.
You know something about to go down.
Touching all over my coworker's breast. And where he up at is when he touched my titties. Because I don't play that. So what I did is I took out the duct tape. I said, he got scared, started stuttering, say, hold up.
Wait a minute.
Something ain't right. I said, yeah, we about to.
You know what he's going to say.
Mummify your ass now, boy. So we wrapped him up. Better than any Christmas present you ever see. He won't be coming on no more Frontier flights at all.
I don't know. Oh boy.
I love their reaction. It's the newscasters laughing.
They're like,
right after.
Oh wait, we're back.
We're back on live.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, that we did. Like they did not expect that clip to play out. They were like, let's shoot to the clip. Oh wow, like he's a lot. That's great TV. That's great TV.
This is good. Sorry, folks. I know we're back on, but wow. Yeah, we were. Wow. Okay, so that was. I'm about to
mummify you. Yeah, which wow.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, hey, you know, if you're gonna give it, you gotta.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, your grandfather made more than I have in a lifetime. But we're still about to get duct taped up until we get back to Miami.
Right. So I felt a little bad for the guy because he was drunk and, you know, being duct taped and humiliated on a flight is a thing. But also, you know, of the consequences that could have come from that incident, rather light.
I don't feel bad for him at all.
No, that's just my natural empathy for human beings.
I don't feel bad for him at all. He was drunk before he even got to Miami. Right?
Yeah,
well, I mean, fair enough.
How do you know he doesn't have like flight phobia or
No, I get it.
Anxiety about flying?
Listen, last one to judge you about getting drunk before you get on the plane and you take some Benadryl. So I've heard. But
you never looked into it for yourself, but you've heard.
Never looked into it for myself, but I've heard things, right? You know, Benadryl, a couple glasses at the bar before you get on. That's fine. But what you won't do is start randomly groping. Like randomly
groping people, fighting, punching.
When you act a whole fool. Like it's very clear that you can't handle your booze on the plane then. Right. So,
and one thing, you know, as a father now, it's like I won't want to ever see one of my kids out there on a flight, no matter what. Could you imagine? I'm Dr. Hall's son. You don't understand. I'm Dr.
My dad's been on the news.
Right.
You're talking about standing at the Frontier gate.
Right. Ready to drag you off.
Ready to body slam.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't hear me?
Yeah.
Or is it?
Wait.
Hey, Miss Donna. You can't hear me?
Oh, are you not? You might have been too far from the mic.
Oh, can you hear? Tell me if you can hear me now. I'm a little closer to the mic, but.
Were we getting Oh, no. You know what? I had us on mute. So we've been recording.
With the
mute button on for I don't know how long. Sorry about that, guys.
Chuck.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Rookie mistake. I don't even know when I pressed that button.
I was going to say, was it during the break?
I don't even know when I pressed that button. There's a chance that the show's been going the whole time without any recording. I mean, so here's the thing. We've been recording everything we've been talking about. So all my backups are picking us up.
Okay. The backups are picking us up.
There's a chance the show was live and streaming without being able to be heard. Yes.
With no sound.
53 minutes without sound. It's quite possible the show's been streaming for 53 minutes without sound. Sorry about that, Miss Donna.
It's just me.
Yeah, it's genuinely me not knowing how to run the buttons. It's my first time doing this.
Ait, I think she said she could.
Yeah, she did say yay, so I assume.
Thank you, Miss Donna. We did not know that. And I wasn't even looking at
the comments, so.
Yeah, no, I just saw it.
Thank you, Donna.
Yeah, thank you, Miss Donna. We appreciate it.
Yes, because we don't know what we're doing over here.
Not yet, anyway.
We're still learning.
This is our first episode live, anyway, but yeah, I mean, listen, a lot of people have gotten on the planes before, trashed. It's fine, right? We've all done it, but never in a way that you're like, you don't ever want to disrupt the flight,
right?
Because you want to get to your destination,
right? You're making it hard for everyone involved.
Listen, I want to get to Miami. I want to get to the beach, so I'm just gonna take my Benadryl and we are completely amateurs at
this. This is the first time we've ever done this, but thank you for joining us. Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think anytime you're like, you know, flying and you're a little, you know, tipsy, like take a nap.
Yeah.
Don't grab the attendee. Don't
be grabbing people. Don't be fighting.
Stuff.
I've seen a lot of videos lately of people fighting on airlines. And
normally it's Spirit. It's not normally Frontier. Like, I don't know how y'all fly Spirit.
I'm not even sure what I would do if I was on a plane and a fight broke out. I'd be like, hey man, please don't be mad. Please don't get me stuck here and I'm trying to go to Cancun.
Bruh.
You know?
I
know you'd be livid.
Yeah.
You don't even have to tell me.
Don't even have to tell me.
I know that's you. I ain't even got to look.
Don't even have to look. I just.
You want me to send you back to Crenshaw Pete with his rusty coat hangers?
No, Black Dynamite, I don't.
Right. So.
That's a little inside joke. Yeah, but I mean, no, you want to be on your best behavior because they can kick you off the plane. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. And then you're stuck in Ohio.
Right.
Instead of on the beach, which is the worst. Mm-hmm. I mean, don't do that.
Don't do that to yourself.
Don't do that.
Please.
I mean, you know, of course they're going to be like, the attendant was extreme with the tape and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, probably. But what do you do with a drunk person? You're already in the air. Yeah. Right? I don't know. Yeah. I wish one of your children with your face would be on a plane like, I'm Dr. Hall's son.
Right. I'd be ready to fight.
He can bite you. He can bite you. Really? Yeah, no. So you're just getting on the plane drunk like this?
They did have that. Did I tell you that the kids asked, are we rich? Well, you might have been there because we were joking about the Dr. Dre thing and they were like, are we rich? And I was like, no, we're not rich.
No.
I mean, we're doing better than our parents were at this age, but we are definitely not rich.
And you have nothing.
And you have nothing. So we're doing fine.
We're doing okay.
But you have not earned anything.
You have no job.
So unfortunately.
Yeah. No.
Even if we were rich, it's not really like a we including you. Yeah. It's a we including me and her like kind of thing. Right. So don't go making no assumptions.
Don't promise our money anywhere.
Don't go write any checks or anything because you ain't got it like that.
I mean, that's what kids do. Right. That's what kids do though. It's like that.
Yeah.
It's like that flyer that we got on our mailbox. It's like, there's a party on Saturday from 11 to 4.
Yeah.
And so Victoria is like talking to the girls. She's like, okay, so I was invited to a party and you guys can come with me if you want.
Nice.
It's like, it's a neighborhood party.
It's a neighborhood party.
They put the flyer on everybody's mailbox.
Right. You were not specially invited anywhere.
And I'm like, wait a minute. I don't know that we're going.
Right.
Now you adding people to it?
Please don't.
Please don't do that.
Please don't add people to
this. I don't want to go anywhere from 11 to 4 on Saturday.
Right.
Y'all know me, no.
Right.
No, but it was
not
like, she was
fan.
like, I was invited, so I'm inviting you guys kind of thing. Because that's how she is.
Right. That's our daughter.
Yeah.
So no, it was very funny to have that guy tell the story of how it elevated the story to a whole other level.
It was so hilarious. And of course there's a remix. Mm-hmm. I don't know where that is, but you could probably find the remix to it later. Yeah. But yeah, that was a funny story. I think the kid's suing.
Yeah, I think he is because he feels like he was mistreated.
Probably unrestrained. There's probably some sort of rule against restraining somebody when they're
there are several. I just Googled it. There are several different remix videos. I don't know which one is the good one.
I'd have to
Remix God. It's probably Remix God. Suede's Remix God.
I was going to say Suede Remix God. Yeah.
Hold up. Chaos in the air, and it got so bad that flight attendants had to duct tape the man to his seat. Ever since masks were required on airplanes.
Oh, this is no fun. Hold on. They can hear this. Let me.
Now understand something. I'm a flight attendant.
My computer's moving too slow for this to work, but give me a second to get it all squared away. Bear with me. At least you can hear us now.
Yeah, right.
Oh boy.
He got scared. Start stuttering. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. Yeah, we about to mummify your ass now, boy. Mummify your ass now.
What a great time to live in, where people can immediately turn something like this into something so quickly.
Oh, Lord. Time. And there it was.
What a time to be alive.
Excuse me.
Wait, stop it. It's when he touched my titties. Wait, stop it. It's when he touched my titties. I don't play that, so we wrap him up. Better than any Christmas present you ever see. Better than any Christmas present you ever see. A pack of Marlboro cigarettes, 4 shots of Everclear alcohol, and regret. He got scared. Start stuttering. Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right. We about to mummify your ass now, boy. Mummify your ass now. Mummify your ass now, boy. We about to mummify your ass now. I'm a flight attendant. That means I attend the flights.
One thing I have to appreciate. I have to appreciate how easily he has that duct tape sound in his head.
Yeah.
Like, because that's not a sound I could make.
Yeah.
But he had that on deck.
He found it.
Yeah,
he found it.
He had the ability to make that sound.
Yeah.
So, of the guys who could have duct taped a guy on a plane, this guy was ready with his own sound effects to describe the story later.
Yeah.
And he seems like a guy you want to hear tell stories about random things that go on in his life.
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't even need to be the guy who tells the big stories. He could tell any story.
Yep.
Yeah. You're like, he's the guy, once he starts telling the story, you sit down and go, no. I need to see this through. I know I was on my way to get coffee, but we're going to finish this here, right now.
Yeah.
So what happened next? Coronavirus.
And then what?
Coronavirus. Nicole over here coughing.
I'm sorry. Excuse me.
We're just going to cough on air.
I turned my face away.
Wow. I'm just saying. So I feel like we're getting close to the end. Like we're close to being able to wrap up.
We talked about a couple of things.
About a couple of things. And did the live show. Thank you, everybody.
Yay.
It's a little different when it's live. I mean, it's a little harder to keep, my dad knows the guy. It's a little harder to keep the whole thing going. This is a tightrope act. So I appreciate those of people who stuck with us.
We totally appreciate you guys
this
listening.
Whole thing.
Yes.
So thanks to Mrs. Davin and Laura Beth for watching us.
We appreciate it.
We definitely appreciate it. If you want to catch it later, it'll be up on the website, on the
with the podcast
Hallspace Podcast site, and on our YouTube page. You might not know we have a YouTube page, but that's where some of the episodes also get collected. And then the regular version of this show, the edited version, will also be available on Spotify and everything if you want to relive this moment. It's been 1 year. It's been so weird to do the show for this long.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah, happy Hallspace Podcast anniversary. This started as a way to connect with people in our lives that we couldn't see and talk to and share stories, and also with each other, because it was getting kind of dull being in the quarantine and I needed a project. And so it's surprising that it's gone for a year. And done so many episodes, and thoroughly enjoying it, having a great time doing it, and miss it when we don't get to do it. So it's fun to get this opportunity to share ourselves with you. We're definitely having a good time.
We are, and we wanted to take one last moment out to send out prayers and thoughts to Tony Baker.
Yes, comedian Tony Baker, known for his animal videos.
Yeah. His animal voiceovers are hilarious.
Yes. He's given us throughout the pandemic, especially. He's given us so many laughs. Yeah. And it's sad because recently his son was killed in a road accident. Street racing. Some people were street racing.
Some other guys were street racing.
And they were cut off while street racing. And him and two other people were unfortunately killed in that accident.
I want to clarify real quick. So his son and their friends were just driving.
Yeah, they were just making a turn.
There were some other guys that were drag racing and ran into the car with, his son and two of their other friends. So a total of 3 sort of innocent people just passed away. As a result,
and his son was only 20 years old, so young man. Young. Still had a whole life ahead of him. And unfortunately, Tony's still been making jokes, had a really good attitude about it, everything. But
you can still tell he's mourning and that he's sad.
Yeah, because you wouldn't want to ever, no parent should ever have to bury their own child.
Never have to bury your kid. Yeah, absolutely.
It's definitely a tragedy, and because of it's literally a person whose videos I watch every day. I've found myself feeling some vicarious trauma, some vicarious pain in knowing, like when it happened, Nicole and I spoke and we're like, man, it's as if we lost someone from our actual community. Just because Tony has been such a, we share his videos with the kids.
They love him. We love them.
Joke about it. We share the jokes. We'll often find ourselves repeating a lot of the statements he makes. He's entered a lot of things into the lexicon during the last year. I've been a follower of his. I'm in his Patreon group, so I've actually watched movies with him. Because that's one of the things he does over there on his Patreon.
Yeah, those are hilarious.
So it's Their parasocial relationships is something I plan on having a show about later, where you talk about the fact that the new age celebrity has sort of stepped into this new era where you're now able to connect with them on what feels like a more personal level, even though you genuinely don't know these people, and yet you feel connected to them as if they are friends or family, and that you've, shared a moment with, because they do these things that they put out into the world that allows us to feel this connection. So when they go through a loss, it is as if it's our loss. And anytime a young black man is killed, it tends to affect us because we have young black children, we are black people ourselves. We, the loss of a person is a loss of a person.
Lose a kid, man, that is
it's just really hard to sit with. So we find ourselves struggling a little bit with just sort of mourning for someone else who has given us so many laughs. And I know I've posted on 3 or 4 things that he's posted, like, hey man, we're still rocking with you, man. You're still a great treasure in this world where not everybody's adding joy to the world. He's a guy who's definitely added a lot of joy to a lot of people's lives. Here's hoping that they're able to, mourn and have a successful funeral and all that. And we'll see what happens in the future with Mr. Baker. And with that, I think we've come around on the end of our live episode. You feel good?
Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
We did it.
You know what the music means.
You know what? I don't have the music queued up. That's hilarious. You're saying that. I'm bye. I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared at all for that. I look over there and I see the intro clip and I'm like, oh, we're good. And then I'm like, wait, you never uploaded the outro clip. So now you're not prepared. I was
ready.
You were ready.
I was ready
so now,
this time.
Go ahead and do the thing.
You know what the music means.
You know what the music means. Our time is up.
I say good day, sir.
I say good day. The Hallspace Podcast is brought to you by Hall Productions, LLC. Show notes and credits can be found at our webpage, thehallspacepodcast.wordpress.com. Any questions, comments, or concerns can be sent to us at thehallspacepodcast@gmail.com. The show is written by Daggerpin Davis. Music is curated by DJ Cabal. The show is produced by Chuck Jones and recorded at Slash and Trash Studios. If you like what you hear and you want to hear more, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And I hope you all have a good week.
It was a great pilot.
Great pilot.
Great pilot.
Good job.
I feel like we should do this every week.
You want to try to do this every week?
You tell me what you think.
Ugh. We could try. We'd get better at it if we did. House Hall. We rise brilliantly.